matchup between Daisy and Bowser Jr. Daisy's first finals match next week will be against Yoshi at Blooper Bay, but who will be the home player for that purpose in 4th seed? Because Daisy cannot win the division, Yoshi cannot win his division, as he lost to Dixie Kong yesterday. Whereas Bowser Jr. has nothing to play for, so this is effectively a dead rubber. Bunker for Daisy. Bowser Jr. shot in this dead rubber. Here comes Bowser Jr. He tries to get it out of the bunker. He's looking to avoid his 8th consecutive defeat. He started 4-4, now he's 4-11. Daisy's shot is on the way, a little bit too far. Bowser Jr., how will he fare? Nicely done by Bowser Jr. Daisy's shot. Chip in? No. Bowser Jr.'s putt. He will be guaranteed to finish last in the division, and Daisy will be guaranteed to finish second in her division. It's in by Daisy. And we also have the 2-10 matchup in about 20 minutes between Harry and Birdo. And a win for Birdo will guarantee her finals participation. A win for Harry will put him in the finals hunt. But he'll also need a lot of results to go his way. Here comes Bowser Jr. A win for Birdo will also eliminate Plum from finals contention as well. Bowser Jr. shot ends up in the bunker. Here comes Daisy. She chips it out. Bowser Jr.'s shot. He's got no choice but to do what Daisy did. Fairway for Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. tries to go long. Daisy, I mean. Here comes Daisy. She's not aiming it on the green though, she's aiming it on the fairway, which is a bit funny. Ends up in the bunker though. Bowser Jr.'s shot. He's really going for it, but that doesn't work out well. It ends up in the water. Not a good result. It's on the fast fairway for Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr.'s shot. Here he comes. Here comes Bowser Jr. on the green, but he's going to have to settle for a double bogey at best. Daisy's shot. Here she comes. Green it is. Bowser Jr.'s putt. It's on the way. Missed. Bowser Jr. for triple bogey. No good. Daisy to draw first blood. She's got it. 1-0 to Daisy. Hole 3. Here comes Daisy. Bowser Jr. shot. Here comes Bowser Jr. Nicely done. Bowser Jr.'s putt. Wide. Daisy to double the lead. It's on the way. She's got it. Three 0 for Daisy. Hole 4. How will Daisy fare? Beach bunker. Bowser Jr. shot. Here he comes. In the bunker. Green it is. Daisy shot. Here comes Bowser Jr. shot, I mean. Poor form by me. Hits the hill and cut a bit short into the rough. Luckily for Bowser Jr. it did not end up in the water, but Bowser Jr. is in big trouble already. He's in dire straits. Bowser Jr. almost gets a birdie though. Daisy's putt to be 3-0 ahead early. She's going boom. 3-0 to Daisy. Daisy is dominating. Hole 5, 410 yards. Daisy's going long. And she's hit it spot on. Well hit by Daisy. Great play. Bowser Jr.'s in a lot of trouble. Bowser Jr. trying to replicate what Daisy did. His drive distance is very similar to hers, so that can come in handy. But he hits the ball a lot lower than she does, so that can be hurtful when it comes to holes that require height. And Bowser Jr.'s shot ends up in the heavy rough, meaning it's going to limit his range. Bowser Jr. gets it on the fairway, but he's virtually a stroke behind, given where Daisy is at the moment. Daisy's shot to continue her blitzkrieg start. Daisy's continuing to dominate Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. is in big trouble. It's almost like he doesn't even care. Daisy's putt to go 4 ahead. It's in! 4-0. Hole 6. Daisy's dominating. Here comes Daisy. Princess Daisy. Her shot looks sublime. Well done, Daisy. About 4.5 feet out. Well, 4 7/12 to be more exact. Bowser Jr. He's in hot water at the moment. He really needs to score. Luckily for Bowser Jr., he's got it on the green and not a difficult putt. Bowser Jr.'s putt. It's on the way, it's good. Daisy's putt. Shouldn't miss it from there, and she's got it. Hole 7, the sand volcano. Daisy's going to hit a very bizarre shot. She is 5-0 ahead. If it ends up in the water, that leaves the door ajar for Bowser Jr. to score. Daisy's first shot. It's on the fairway, dodges the bunkers in the narrowest possible position. Bowser Jr. shot. It's going to curl a bit left, and that will stop it from going in the water. A good result for Bowser Jr. Question is, he doesn't want to fall in that hole, and Bowser Jr.'s shot is very good. Bowser Jr.'s second shot. He focuses on the wind. It's on the way for Bowser Jr. Great play. 10.9 feet out. Daisy shot. Here she comes. Princess Daisy. It looks good. Green it is. Almost 20 feet out. Daisy's putt. In! Bowser Jr. It's in. Hole 8, 421 yards, the shark fin. Here comes Daisy. She tries to make sure it won't land on the green. No, land in the rough. 230, 240, 250. Fairway it is. Here comes Bowser Jr. He's in a lot of trouble at the moment, though he's mitigated the hurts at the moment, stopping Daisy from scoring in the last 2 holes. Fairway for Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr.'s next shot. Sprayed left, and it's not going to be on the green. Ends up in the bunker. Not a good shot in the end. Right idea, but it wasn't well executed. Daisy shot. Will it probably end up the same? Probably a similar execution in the end. Bunker, except a steeper hill to climb given how close she is to the edge. Bowser Jr., no chip in unfortunately. Daisy. Here comes Daisy. Almost there. Bowser Jr.'s putt. Has he hit it far enough? Yes. Daisy's putt. She's got it in. Hole 9, 573 yards. It's a long hole. Daisy's taking a bit of a risk here. Unfortunately for her, it's short. Bowser Jr. can take advantage here. Here comes Bowser Jr. This is his chance to finally get on the board now that Daisy stuffed it up. Unfortunately for Bowser Jr., it is short and ends up in the water too. He took a big risk and it didn't pay off. Daisy shot. She is so far behind now. Fairway for Daisy. Bowser Jr., he's in a similar position. He's going to opt to go more conservative here. Just to make sure it doesn't land in the anchor bunker. And Bowser Jr.'s shot ends up in the rough. Bowser Jr.'s shot. He's down to 4 power shots, but luckily for Bowser Jr., he's got it out of trouble. Fast fairway for Bowser Jr. Daisy's shot. Daisy's shot. Hits the tree. Ends up in the rough. Here comes Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. shot. Hits the hill. 80.9 yards. Daisy shot. Fairway. Bowser Jr. Here comes Bowser Jr. Bunker. Daisy shot. She looks set to score if she lands on the green. Trying to curl it a bit left. It's on the green. 16.62 feet out. Bowser Jr. Wide left. Daisy's putt to go 5 up. It's in. 5-0. We're off to hole 10 and Daisy holds a commanding 5-0 lead. Can Daisy continue to dominate or will Bowser Jr. somehow create a comeback of the century? Daisy's shot. Nicely done by Daisy. It's on the semi-rough though, but not far from the hole. Bowser Jr. shot. Here he comes, wearing the mask. But he's probably out of breath. That's probably why. But at least he's being COVID safe, unlike the other competitors. Here comes Bowser Jr. This is his second shot. Nicely done. Well done, Bowser Jr. Daisy's shot. Trying to keep Bowser Jr. scoreless. Fringes of the green. Daisy's putt. It's on the way. No good. Daisy's putt is in. Bowser Jr. to score. Bowser Jr. is on the board. 5-1. Hole 11. 176 yards. Can Bowser Jr. keep it up or will Daisy bounce back strongly? Bowser Jr. shot is on the green. Well done, BJ. 12.23 feet out. Daisy's shot. Here she comes. She's hit it well. She's letting the wind push it. Well done, Daisy. Bowser Jr.'s putt in. Daisy's putt. Oh my, she's missed it. 2 in a row for Bowser Jr. Hole 12, 399 yards. Bowser Jr. got some luck on his side this time. Can Bowser Jr. continue his surge? Well done, Bowser Jr. Daisy shot. Here she comes. Bowser Jr. shot again. How will he fare? Well done, Bowser Jr. Daisy shot. How will she fare? Nice stuff by Daisy. On the green. Bowser Jr.'s putt. He's been playing a bit better, but he's missed. That has stalled his momentum. Daisy can swing the momentum back her side. Bang! 6-2. Hole 13. Daisy to take the first shot. Nicely done. Bowser Jr. shot. Here comes Bowser Jr. How will he fare? Has he hit it far enough? Sprayed left and short into the rough. Next shot, Bowser Jr. It's on the fairway this time. Here comes Daisy. Short of the green. Bowser Jr. shot. How will he fare? Green it is. Daisy's shot. It's on the green. Bowser Jr. shot. Daisy's putt in. 6-2. Hole 14, 414 yards. Here comes Daisy. Will she land it in the bunker or will she get it out? Here comes Bowser Jr. Semi-rough. Here comes Bowser Jr. Here comes Daisy. How will she fare? Bowser Jr.'s missed. Daisy, this is for the win. Daisy to win, 7-2. Daisy's the winner. Daisy finishes 11-5 and Bowser Jr. finishes 4-12. Bowser Jr. ends on a very low note, losing 8 in a row as Daisy goes to 11-5. After losing to Lemmy last week, she has beaten Bowser Jr. and will face off against Yoshi at home at Blooper Bay in the wildcard round. Thank you for the Mario Golf Premier League match between Daisy and Bowser Jr.